The
Right.
more defined you have, the more clearer pictures, you can go target that kind of person. But if you just say
Hmm.
women from, 35 to 70, good luck. What if they don't own
Right.
businesses? What if they don't
Okay.
aren't interested in building business credit? So we want to get super specific with our customer. And once we get super specific with our customer, then we can figure out what specific problems that group of people has, and then you can laser focus on solving those problems. Because I'm sure you don't want to work with somebody who's not interested in starting a business, right?
Right.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. That's what I'm getting at. And so I think you're
Okay.
you're on the right track 100%. I love what you're doing, and I love this business model. It works great if you can get hyper specific. And I had to learn that
I
lesson the
have to.
hard way in the beginning. I thought that everybody would be my customer, and I was so wrong. I was so wrong. And once I got,
No.
focused on that, everything worked better. Hello, Anita. It's so good to see you.
Hi. So good to see you as well. Thank you for taking out this time to speak with me today.
Yeah, of course. I saw your Calendly notes, and I'm really interested to hear directly from you, like a little bit more about yourself. What's going on?
Okay, so I'm based out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Awesome.
I am in I call it financial literacy
Okay.
and credit restoration business. With my goal, to be totally honest, is to one, it was started with educating myself
Mm-hmm. For sure.
because I'm a corporate America dropout. And the bank taught me a lot about credit
Mm-hmm.
and finances and money. And I'm like, if I'm this age, working at the bank over 12 years, and it taught me this, that means there's a lot of other people
Oh, no
that
doubt.
they don't know any of this that's going on from the inside and why the reason for being denied, especially if it's a more conservative bank, why you're being denied
Mm-hmm.
and what your credit and your finances should look like. So I struggled with it, to be totally honest, for a
Mm-hmm.
couple of years. Like, am I confident enough to do this? Will people trust me to do this? And then I was like, screw it, I'm going to do it. So
Cool.
I started doing it on my own and looking into everything it took to start the business. So then I became a partner with network marketers that were doing it. I
Mm.
love network marketing, but it was some things that I did not like
Mm-hmm.
about it. Was kind of like cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike, and it's a little bit deeper than that. Like, the
Yeah.
information is good, what they're putting out there, the roadmap, what you should be doing. But I'm like, there's other things that you have to do a little bit more than just send these letters out, sign them, and wait for the response back from the credit bureau.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still doing that as well. But then I branched off a little bit on my own with educating myself more.
Nice.
So now I'm at a point where I'm ready to just get the information out there. I also took the course with NAV to
Mm.
become business credit and lending certified as well.
Great.
And I want to help women, but they're not doing it the right way.
Right.
And they're depleting all of their personal funds doing it. And then the business shuts down. And I'm like, well, you didn't have your affairs set up the right way. Everything wasn't done the right way. And
No
that's
doubt.
why you weren't successful. Not saying that you were not successful, the way you structured your business. You didn't do it in a way that it was going to be successful.
I see.
So that's what I want to help more women, educate more women, because I know a lot of women lack financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
And the percentage is like, men is like 60 something percent more financial literate, almost 70% more financial literate than women are.
Interesting.
Yes. And I'm like, really, ladies? No. So I want to help women become more financial literate,
Okay.
help them work on their credit, and help them set their business up the correct way.
How do you plan on teaching women this?
I was, see, that's what I wanted to discuss with you a little more.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think it will be better as a group versus
Okay.
individual. Like, we can sit down and go over and map out what works for you individually for your business, but as a whole, if the goal is you want to start your business, this applies to everyone depending on, LLC, whatever, S Corp, C Corp, whatever that's a small piece of it, but
Mhm.
you need all of these other moving pieces. So many people are worried about the website. I'm like, that doesn't even matter right now.
Mhm.
Well, I have to get a website. You can create a landing page for right now. You don't even have to create a full-fledged website. You can do a little landing page and
No
just
doubt.
have somewhere to send someone. But do you have a business account open? No.
It's huge.
Do you have your EIN? Yeah. Do you have your DUNS number? I didn't know I needed that. So why in the hell are you worried about a website?
Mm.
So yeah, I think more of a group setting
Okay.
would be better versus like one-on-one. Then when it comes to the one-on-one piece, that's that's different than just giving them doing a training for what you need in the structure of your business. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Why a group instead of individual?
I guess for me, just so I wouldn't just have like, so if I have 15 people that want to know,
Hmm.
instead of going through with all 15, we could do a group setting and just go over, the launching, how to launch
Got it.
properly, what you would need to do before you even get into XYZ. You need to do these things first.
Yeah.
Then we can do an individual, like I guess kind of something like this, like a call to map out your business plan and what works for you
Mhm.
individually, but just as a group setting, just to get the information out there. And this is what it looks like in a group. So, like a group training versus a one on one
Got it.
training. Does
Got
that
it.
make sense? Is that a thing, or did I just make that up?
No, no, it's there's all different kinds of ways to sell information. Information is what you're
Okay.
really selling, and you're
Yes.
putting on a class, teaching people, and there's a lot of different ways to teach people. You can teach people one on one. You can make YouTube videos. You can create a course and put it on, things like Kajabi or Teachable, and people
Okay.
can go through it on their own. You can do cohort based training and have like 15 people in a Zoom call, and you teach them all on Zoom.
Yes.
It's whatever your style is and whatever you prefer. Some are more
Okay.
intensive than others. Some you are easier to scale than others. And yeah, I have experimented with a bunch of different versions, bunch of different methods of selling, information and teaching people about business. And, I settled on the Kajabi course. I like doing that. And then
Kajabi.
yeah, it's a platform that hosts your course, your educational materials. And they go through your videos and, take
Okay.
quizzes and get emails and get documents and things like that. So there's all kinds of different ways to do it. Which way? So if you want to do a group type of teaching, are you planning on doing it in person or online?
Both.
Both.
I was
Okay.
thinking both. Yeah.
Okay. Which one are you going to set
So
up first?
I was thinking in person first.
Okay. Where are you going to be teaching them in person?
So I have a few different locations here. One, I can use the library.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
The other one is my parents own a restaurant. So they said days that they're not open, I could rearrange the dining
Nice.
room and do it there.
Nice.
Or two,
It's
my
huge.
mentor, he has a really nice house
Mm-hmm.
that's just like vacant, and he's undecided what he wants to do, and it's 4,100 square feet.
Cool.
So he's
You
like,
got
we can
options.
always set up in there
Okay.
as well.
Cool. I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I don't want to put it. Do you have a framework of how you're going to deliver all the information?
A friend of mine, she was helping me with the delivery piece. We were going to have like slides, of course, and explaining and showing, people like this is why, and giving them the pros and cons of, why you
Yeah.
should. And if you don't, this is how it can come back on you and your business, and you can possibly be sued and all that good stuff. So we were going to do more like a slide
Mm-hmm.
show on explaining the way to set it up and how to get everything going.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think it is that I would be able to help you with while we're talking today?
So I guess I have to stop saying I guess. I know. My reasoning for reaching out with you was just to make sure, because I watch a lot of your work. I follow
I
like
appreciate that.
everything that you do.
Means a
And
lot.
oh, you're welcome. And I just wanted to make sure that I'm going in the right direction with like doing a group setting, or should it be more individual settings,
Mhm.
or run that past you. And is there anything that you would suggest that I should do? Because business credit, for me, business credit, it's when it compared to personal credit, it's a completely different beast.
Mhm.
And building that, when you're building a business, it's a completely different beast. And I just want to make sure I'm staying on top of everything and educating myself, because things are always changing
Mhm.
in this world that we live in. And just to run it past you and ask you, what do you think about that? Like my target age group is
Mhm.
like women that's like 35, and I'm going to say up, because I don't put
Oh, it's a
an
big range.
age.
Okay.
Yeah, because for me, they're like in our network marketing group, there's a 65-year-old lady in the group
Totally.
that's a retired grandmother,
Mhm.
but she was bored out of corporate America, and she makes like 70,000 a month.
Mhm. So if there was a 19-year-old in the group, would you change the range of your ideal customer then to 19 to unlimited?
I would work with a 19-year-old.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say, I know sometimes when they're a little younger, just because I have a 24-year-old, they kind of think they know everything.
No
So it's
doubt, right? And I was that way.
it's kind of harder to, you know, and they have the internet, so they're influenced by a lot of things that look real, but it's not necessarily all real.
Mhm.
So
So you would want to do that all the way. The reason what I'm getting at is that the more specific you can get with your customer, the easier time you're going to have of targeting the people. If everyone's your customer, then no one is your customer. It's
yeah, I
like
know.
so that's why I'm getting at. It sounds like everyone's your customer here.
Yeah, well, I know I want it to be women, and I
Okay,
know I want them to be, like I said, that age range, because I'm learning that. But I
from
didn't want to
19
go
to
to,
unlimited, that age range.
no, not unlimited. No,
Oh,
I
okay,
don't
okay,
want
okay.
unlimited. So I would say maybe from maybe 25, because 19-year-olds, they can be a little difficult too.
Mhm. Yeah, I
I,
feel
I,
you.
I
What I'm getting at here is not to like, make exceptions, but to really define who your customer is. Like really come up with an avatar. I want you to assign like a single age. Like it's a 34-year-old woman who lives in this area who is trying to start a business. She probably has two kids. She makes this much money. This is where she hangs out. This is a social media she uses. She might have
mhm,
sisters. The more specific you can get, the easier it's going to be for you to find new customers. Eventually, you're going to run out of customers in your immediate area and your immediate network. Then what?
right,
And so the
right.
more defined you have, the more clearer pictures, you can go target that kind of person. But if you just say
Mhm,
women from, 35 to 70, good luck. What if they don't own
right.
businesses? What if they don't
Okay.
aren't interested in building business credit? So we want to get super specific with our customer. And once we get super specific with our customer, then we can figure out what specific problems that group of people has, and then you can laser focus on solving those problems. Because I'm sure you don't want to work with somebody who's not interested in starting a business, right?
Right.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. That's what I'm getting at. And so I think you're
Okay.
you're on the right track 100%. I love what you're doing, and I love this business model. It works great if you can get hyper specific. And I had to learn that
So I
lesson the
have to.
hard way in the beginning. I thought that everybody would be my customer, and I was so wrong. I was so wrong. And once I got
No.
focused on that, everything worked better.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board for that and see.
I have a template that I work off of whenever I'm figuring out how the best way to launch a business. It's just basically just a business plan is really what it is, but it's just like 12 different questions to ask yourself to get you thinking in the right direction. Like,
I
what
think I
problem am I
purchased
solving?
that.
Oh, okay.
I
I hope you
purchased
got it for
that.
free.
Yeah.
If you
I
did
think I
purchase it,
went
I'll
in.
give you your money back.
Yeah, I went in. It was like the $19 for.
Oh,
Is
you
that?
got you got the whole legal doc bundle. Okay, cool. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did the
Awesome.
bundle.
All right, okay.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I hope you didn't pay for the business plan. I made it free so people could get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did
Okay.
the bundle. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for
Um.
that.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go back and focus on target audience.
Yeah, that target audience, the specific problem you're solving, and then really the delivery is the next piece. because
Hmm.
ultimately you want to, like, do you have some goals set in mind, like as far as like how this business is going to go in the future, what you plan on doing, how you're planning on scaling? You're going to keep it small and like boutique style where you really only want to make a couple $100,000 a year, or is this something you want to infinitely scale and get bigger and grow?
I do want to scale it
Mm-hmm.
and have it get bigger and grow. And the goal is, to be totally honest, is to teach these women
Mm-hmm.
to do this and make sure they're successful at doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a hairstylist and you might be more seasoned in the game and you learned a lot of lessons with owning a hair salon,
Yeah.
the young, like you said, the 19-year-olds, the younger people that are coming, along doing what you're doing, you can help them and teach them
Mm.
as well. So it's like I want to build a nation of women that are
Okay.
confident enough to take what I'm teaching them, then to go out into the world and do the same and teach it and help the younger generation so they don't make a lot of the same mistakes that we've made,
Mm-hmm.
and so they can be successful at running and opening a business.
Yep.
So I went back to school for like almost a year to
Nice.
make sure that I'm well versed in my industry and that I'm growing as the businesses are growing. I'm helping people in their business so their business can grow.
Awesome. Okay. No, I dig it. I like where you're at. I love the business. The idea of the business is the execution that I struggled with in the beginning, because I was like, I know I want to teach, and I'm only talking about this because you asked me my opinion on your business model that you have going on.
Hmm.
And when I first started, I do similar thing. Not so credit heavy focus, but just the foundation, the legal stuff, that everybody should have been taught in school, but they weren't.
Right.
And I decided to put it together in like that video course, like I was telling you about, so that people could go through on their own time. And then I could meet with each individual person when they were ready and wanted to have questions with me. And that worked really well. I toyed with your idea of doing group trainings, but the logistics of filling up the course and marketing for that type of event was completely different from what I wanted to do. I didn't want to
Hmm.
focus on getting people into the funnel and then getting signups for free webinars and then getting those webinars to convert or come into person, or, it was just, it wasn't in the cards for me. It's totally in the cards for you. And so my advice would be to flesh out how you're going to deliver that information and get like a good
Okay.
system down, like good system to get people in the door, a good system to get
Okay.
their money, and then a good system to deliver the information and then
Okay.
keep in contact with them. And I wouldn't be worried about doing things one-on-one in the beginning. I was personally worried that I would run out of time and that a business model wouldn't be scalable if I was teaching people individually. One of my mentors told me, is like, what is your problem, dude? Like, you're trying to solve problems that don't even exist yet. How about you get some clients first and then you worry
Hmm.
about scaling it? And I was like, oh
Okay.
shit, dude, you're right. You're right. And that's when I kind
Yeah.
of like reset and like, had
Yeah.
to go back to the drawing board for a minute. So that's the most valuable lesson that I learned when I was setting up
Okay.
this education company.
Okay. So yeah, I have some homework.
I think you're gonna do great because
I
you
have
already
some
you,
homework.
you already know the stuff that needs to be done to run the business, and so that part is like that box is checked. Now it's just a
Yes.
matter of finding customers and teaching them what you know, and that's the fun part.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working on now, is to
So
get out
cool.
there, get information out there, have
Mm,
some events,
mm,
and I do need to target my audience and define what the problem is. And the problem is lack of knowledge and education
mm-hmm.
and cultural differences. I'm learning a lot of that culturally. I'm like, oh no, that's not
Yeah, dude, you got
normal.
to break bad habits. Like people have had
Yeah.
bad habits their whole life, they don't know, and you got to come in and like shatter their previous preconceived notions
Yes.
and reteach them. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, that's work. And those, your I had a lady the other day and I had to tell her, I said, that's not a fact. And that's just your meaning and your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, it is a fact. I'm like, if it can't be proved in the court of law as a fact, it's not a fact.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, oh, I get it now. I'm like, yeah, those are your thoughts about what's going on. That's not real.
I love that. It's heavy, man. It's heavy, and you get to have those moments with people. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yes.
I
So,
So if someone came to you and was like, "All right, Juanita, I'm ready. Teach me what you know. How much does it cost? Sit down with me. Just teach me this stuff.
Okay, so tell me if I'm crazy. 495, 497. I'm sorry,
Okay.
497. Is that too low for
Well,
everything?
let me tell you about price and the research that I've done. If
Okay.
you are not going to have a sales team, it's difficult to charge more than $1,000. It's
Okay.
difficult.
Yeah, I don't have a team
Typically,
yet.
yeah, you would need sales to like really sit down, talk to the person, schedule a call, and really close them if it's more than $1,000. That's what I found in my research and
Okay.
talking to other people who have done online courses, things like that. 495 is a sweet spot. $500 is a sweet spot. You know, they're invested enough in it that they
Hmm.
care. But if it's too cheap, they're not going to give a shit. I've experimented
Right.
with charging $100 a month for 5 months. Don't do that. Don't do that. Most people will never pay. Their payments will just
Okay.
stop working. And that's not the client you want. You don't want the client that's looking to get something free. You want the client that's looking to invest in themselves. And so you
Yeah.
got to get them to pony up the cash so they can feel like they've invested in themselves. I think it's a great price.
Yes, I always say if they pay attention.
100%. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, my friends, they like that. I say cheap has a spirit, and we don't want that spirit. And
Yes. Mm.
and if they pay attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the
So
truth. That's really cool.
okay.
I think you're on the right track, and I highly encourage you to look into using technology to help you spread your message. You know,
Okay.
highly encourage you to start documenting like the stuff you're teaching in your classes on TikTok and YouTube if you can, if you have the bandwidth
Okay.
for it. Highly recommend you record your everything you do so that you can eventually turn them into evergreen video courses. So that when you're ready, you can sell, a $500 package, and they can go through the videos on their own speed. And you've already had it recorded. You already done it.
Okay.
That would be. I think you're gonna kill it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
I do have another question. When I was on your site, you have a like monthly like training or coaching that you
Mhm.
do. Is
Mhm.
that correct? What is in that coaching? What is that?
Sure.
I can't remember what it
Basically,
was for.
a lot of people go through my business school and they get to talk to me at least once. I give everybody that opportunity to schedule a call with me. But some people have, specific problems that they really want to solve, and they really like working with me, and we just mesh well. And so
Hmm.
they want to talk more. And that's so I set up a program to work with a small group of individuals who meet my criteria. And we talk every other week for an hour, and I become their business coach, more or less. We figure out what your problems are, what's causing you issues, where the bottlenecks are. We put systems in place and we solve problems. We not line up your goals and we knock them out. It's super informal. There's no contracts or anything. It's just a way for us to work really closely and really intensely together. I have a business
Okay.
coach and I'm a coach for other people, and I'm like, yeah, I love them. I love how it works because my life got so much better when I had someone to work with and to bounce ideas off of. And now that I get to do that
Yes.
with other people, it feels good. And so that's what it's all about. It's not right for everybody, but
Okay.
some people really like it.
Okay. Because that's something I'm like, if I'm going in this space, and like I said, my friend Deidre, um,
Hmm.
she's like, you're kind of like coaching these people
Yeah.
because like, you're solving their problem.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah. She's like, so it's you're kind of like in that space. I'm like, but if I'm a coach and I'm moving in that space, even though I didn't look at it like that way, I was like, I need a coach. I can't do this without
Mm,
a coach. She
I
was
feel
like,
you.
true. I'm like, that's like a therapist. Most therapists, they have therapists. They need a
Yeah,
therapist.
it's so true. So true. Even professional athletes get coaches so they can get better and perform better.
Right.
We are mental athletes. Business is an intellectual sport.
Yeah. So I was like, I seen that on Evan's site. She's like, maybe he needs to be your coach as when you get started as your coaching to make sure you're doing things and you're scaling your business to help your clients do whatever it is they need to do. I was like, I need a
Mm,
coach. She's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's gonna work. That's why I was asking you that question
perfect.
to
Well,
see if that
as
would
your
work for
business
me.
starts getting and starts running and you start putting these things in place and you start teaching, and if you get to a point where you're like, I don't know how to proceed, I don't know what to do next, like what's the better decision, and then let me know, we'll talk, and then we can do a little
Sure.
trial run, and if you like working with me, we can continue to work together. If not, no big deal.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
that's how I roll. Anything else I can answer for you before I jump off here? And of
No, I think that was it. I do appreciate your time, and
course,
thank you so much for everything. And I
absolutely.
will be watching your videos.
I appreciate that. And if you ever need anything, you can always reach out to me on Instagram or shoot me an email. If I can answer a question for you, I 100% will.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you so much, Evan.
Bye,
Yeah,
Juanita. Nice to meet you.
bye. Nice to meet you as well. Have a good day.
You too.